Recording is in progress. Good evening, y'all. It's Platoon. Evenings, weekends. This is Hotel Platoon. I'm your host, Jordan. Uh, we are on Module 5, Django, Week 13, Day 1. This is Week 2, Day 1 of Django. And we're already talking about DRF and REST. Any of these words make sense to anybody? What is REST? I had to look it up because I don't remember what it stands for. Representational state transfer. It's an architectural style for designing networked applications, particularly web services. What does that mean? It's a agreed upon convention for APIs. Your API should accept JSON. If I send you JSON with a post, I would expect it to create a new thing. If I send JSON with a put, I would expect that it would expect an ID and it would do some updates. And it doesn't need the whole thing. It only needs a few things, just what's getting changed. If I sent a delete request, I would expect it to expect an ID. And I would expect it to delete it and tell me I deleted that thing. And if I just fire off a GET request, I would expect it to give me something back. If there was a book API and I said, give me get, URL/1, I would expect one book and it would be ID 1. And if I hit just URL/book, it should probably enter the word books, slash, I would expect all the books. If the books then were separated by like, this is just an example, not a real website, but I would like to go to, HTTP, book API, that would be all the books. It should end in a slash. If from there, I should be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the ID of the book is. If it was then separated by, what is it, genres? Maybe I would have the word genre here, and then fantasy or horror, or maybe if I just do this, that probably should be plural. Maybe it gives me a list of the genres, and that's all it. But these are things I grow to expect from a RESTful site. It might do things like this, where you can give it genres and then it expects a parameter being handed to it as horror. These are RESTful expectations. If I go to your site and it just looks like this, it's going to make me mad. I don't know what 1 is. Well, 1 stands for genre. 2 or 3 is like, oh, that's the horror genre, by the way. 2 is first 2, whatever pageted. Like this stuff needs to make a lot of sense, right? And your API, I shouldn't, to delete something, have to send a post request, right? I would expect it to react the way I expect it to react. That's more or less what REST is talking about. That's why we have it. It makes things a hell of a lot easier when you generally know what to expect with an API. The Django REST API, the Django REST framework is going to help us do that. You don't have to remember all these crazy things like, oh, every single model needs to have a get, a pull, delete, and also they need to be able to, accept the right things. They need to be able to handle all this. We could instead utilize the Django REST framework to look at our models and then generate put, pull, get, deletes as necessary. It can do that for us. The benefit of that is it's going to very nicely match up to RESTful framework expectations. I would say the downside of that is we're a little locked into some specifics. It is how the API is expected to behave, but it can get a little wonky if you're trying to do something, a little wonky. Maybe your API isn't designed to be hit by other people. Maybe it's just your special little snowflake thing, and you need it to do very specific things. Well, Django REST framework might get in the way of that, right? Because it's expecting a very standard set of rules. So that's kind of the give and take. We like to teach DRF. It gets you going quick. It builds endpoints for you. It handles a lot of work. It can save a hell of a lot of time. So it's a good thing to do. We used to teach it at the end because we didn't want people to rely on it too much, but we've since then decided it's fine. So we're going to talk about Django REST frameworks. Talk about class-based design, REST API design, Postman. Are we? I'm not talking about Postman today. Starter code. The application as of end of yesterday's lesson is going to be the end of day 4 branch. There it is. This is what we're looking at. If I clone this down, that's not going to be day 4 branch, right? We're on, oops. We're on main branch. So what we need to do is get checkout end of day. Wait, how does this? Oh, okay, it's all. I had that wrong. End of day 4. End of day 4. Is that a real branch? Heck yeah, it is. There we are. Gonzo. One thing we want to make sure we do just ahead of time. What is that? Get rid of that. Let us Docker compose up to start up that database, right? Like we should be doing at the beginning of class every day. I didn't make that up. That is what this application tells you to do when you click on it. That's how we start it. That's how we stop it. Cool. Looks like we got a database running. So far we've created Pokemon and moves utilizing Django ORM with associations, validators, and tests. Although it's been great, we still haven't talked about why we are utilizing Django ORM to interact with our database. Django is a powerful backend framework that we utilize to host application program interface for our full stack applications. Man, that is a 4.0 answer if someone ever asked you what you use Django for. Today we are going to begin creating views. MVC, Mike, Victor, Charlie, model view controller is a common set of words you'll see with servers. You got your models. Guess where those are? Right here. You got your views. We will set our views. And then controllers are going to be like our serializers. Kind of our URLs working with our serializers. The controller is usually directing traffic to different functions. Views. Views maybe makes you feel like it's something that you can see, like your page. Not exactly. It's going to be a function to handle the requests. It's going to take in an HTTP request, HTTP request object in JSON and kind of turn it into dictionaries or a JSON response. It's handling calls and responding to it with JSON, which is the way the internet talks to each other generally is JSON. If you spit back XML at me, I'm going to smack you. But you know, that's a thing that a lot of people do. All right, we talked a little bit about why we want to do this. I feel like the more we talk about it, the more lost we're going to get. I kind of want to just show it off. There's a lot of words. To consider when creator API views using JSON to format. JSON format to send and receive data. Like I said, we want to respond with JSON. We want to receive JSON. It is the primary medium of data exchange on the internet. Like Jordan says, JSON was specifically made to interact with JavaScript and is therefore easily interpreted by JavaScript. Every respectable language has a JSON parser. Feels like throwing shade at some that don't. Use filtering, sorting to retrieve data as requested. Yada yada yada. That's boring. Let's get into some code. Y'all can read that in your own time. That's not what I want to talk about. Let's see what we got here. I got a requirements file. I got some Django. I've got I removed the versioning for G binary and typing extensions because those were causing me issues. I'm going to create a virtual environment. No, don't ever tell me that. I'm going to pip install requirements. Yay. Now, we're going to do this. Pip install Django REST framework. Sick. Where is it? Oh, duh. What's this command do? Art?
I believe that installs into requirements.txt.
Installs? This
Yeah.
is install.
Hmm.
What do you mean by install? Are you mixing your words up? Do you mean writes to the requirements text?
Yeah. That sounds good.
Let's talk about bash. Pip freeze. What is this showing us? What is this, y'all? Somebody answer.
What's currently installed
Where?
in requirements.txt
No!
virtual environment.
Yes. That is what is installed in our virtual environment. How come this looks different than my requirements.txt file? It's got a new thing here.
Because you haven't ran the requirements, pipe the requirements into pipe those packages into the requirements file.
All right. It's installed in my virtual environment. We saw that. It's our proofs right here. Requirements.txt is whatever. I can do whatever the hell I want here. It's literally, just text. It's nothing. This is just a piece of paper that says what I think I should be installing. When I do pip freeze, that tells us what's in our virtual environment. If you do anything, there we go. This arrow here, if you type something, if we do something that outputs to the terminal and you pipe it, that will write it to a file. If I do, echo, and then I do this to requirements.txt. Oh, okay. Okay, don't do this, please. Look at that. We wrote to it because we use two arrows. It appends to the file. If I sent one arrow, it deletes the file, rewrites it. And again, echo, just, if you don't remember, just writes to the terminal. This is going to output the string. Well, these letters, it's not really strings in bash. We took that output instead. See, it didn't go to the terminal though. This is what normally would do. It would go to the terminal. We said, no, don't do that. Don't go to the terminal. Go to requirements.txt. Okay. So when I pip freeze, writes to the terminal. When I pip freeze into requirements.txt, it doesn't write to the terminal. It shoots it here. Do we all follow that? I don't want to beat this dead horse, but I think it's important to understand that requirements.txt is just it's just a place to save our requirements. It's a place that we tell somebody what we think needs to be installed for this, for this bit. Other languages are a little bit more rough about this. You've got we get back into using Node, and we use JavaScript, React. We're gonna have a package.json, which is going to give us our list of packages and even a lock file that tells you what version was installed. A little bit more complex than this requirements.txt, which these can get complicated as well. All right. Make sure you add REST framework to your installed apps. Where's that at? Nicole?
It is under your Pokédex _project, under settings. and scroll down a little bit, it'll say installed apps.
What's the specific word they want? Rest framework. Cool. Good, good, good. So here's an example of what we expect it to look like. I think this is a good example. This is what I would expect if I hit an API that someone had built for Pokemons. I would like a list of Pokemon. Looks good. I want a dictionary. Looks good. Model. Okay, we can have that, but this is just what Django is going to do. It's going to tell us where this model comes from. Pokemon app.pokemon. I would expect that to line up to Pokemon directory. Oops, directory. And then maybe the models. Primary key 1. Here are the fields. This is where it's going to kind of delineate what is in here. Pokemon name, level, date, sure, captured, sure, description, don't care. And then moves. As we all know, or don't care, it's fine, it's Pokemon. You can have multiple moves. So this Charizard can have moves. I don't know that Charizard can learn Psychic. Does anyone know? That doesn't seem right. But it's in here. That move app.move. That is going to come from move app. Move app. And it is going to come from our models. Move. Makes sense to me. It's going to have a primary key. It's going to have fields. Again, it's going to have a name, accuracy, whatever the hell you want. But it's going to be a key. Or sorry, key value pair, KVP, dictionaries. But this is JSON, right? Key values, key value. This is how I'd expect it to be. Objects. If there were more moves, I want them within these brackets. If there were more Pokemon we wanted to list, I would expect them within these brackets. That is RESTful to do this. We got a lot of notes here. Let's talk about them. I think these notes are good for y'all to look at in your own time and me not talk about all of them because it's silly. Let me paste. So I pasted all that. Let me take all of these imports and move them to the top where I think they belong. Rid of some white space. All right, so we're going to import the Pokemon model. We need that. We're going to import the move model. We need that, right? We said we wanted this model. We said we wanted this model. We're going to need to reach out to those. Serialize. Utilize serializer to turn our query sets into a binary string. Import JSON. JSON loads will take those binary strings, return them in JSON data. It's a little song and dance we have to do in JSON, or sorry, in Django. Do it the same way every time. We don't have to talk about the specifics too much. So here's a Pokemon model we're used to. All we're going to do now, oh no, I left one. From REST framework.views, import API view response. This is going to be some boilerplate you'll need for most of your Django projects. Oh, wait, hold on a second. This doesn't go in models. I'm losing my stinking mind, everybody. Oh my goodness. This is going in views.py, Jordan. There we go. Sorry. I should have known. We already have a Pokemon model. This view is going to be returning a request for all Pokemon, as if you were to hit the URL, our URL, / Pokemon, something like that. That's what we're trying to hit here. We're going to create a GET request today. Get, grab all Pokemon existing within our database in a specific order to keep consistency in this order. We will order by name. Cool. Man, that's annoying. I think some of this is probably all these things are fine, but I'd rather just talk about them. We're going to set a value here. So within the get request, we receive a get to this view. It is going to go find Pokemon. That is plural. This is like, Pokemons, Pokemans. We are going to make a call to the Pokemon model. Objects, get all of them. And then we're just going to order them by name. We don't have to do that, but we're going to. It's going to put them in order by name. A serialized Pokemon, we are going to take that Pokemon from the database, and we are going to turn it to a JSON binary, whatever output. We're going to build out of this. So we have said all our Pokemon are this. We need to serialize it into JSON, readable stuff. And then JSON Pokemon, this is going to take that serialized Pokemon and turn it into actual legit JSON. This serializes it into a binary that can be read to JSON. JSON loads. Hey, read whatever that is, make it actual JSON. Move data, right? We need to return, let's look at this as a reminder. We need to get Pokemon, and then for each of those Pokemon, we need to return their moves. So this is kind of nested, right? Again, this is plural. Get all the Pokemons. For each of those Pokemon in JSON Pokemon, now it's in a JSON form that we can read, we can iterate through. This is stuff we've been doing day one. If you want to iterate through a list of objects, we can do so. Query the database, grab a list of moves, move data, move.objects, filter, ID, in Pokemon fields, moves. What is that saying? We're saying for each of these Pokemon, we need a variable. It's going to be called move data. We're going to go get move, which is from our move app.models. Objects, filter, meaning don't give them all to me, just give the ones I asked for. And I want them by ID in Pokemon. So as we're iterating through this, whatever this Pokemon's ID is, we're going to go get all the moves that belong to that Pokemon. Fields, moves. Assign it to the original Pokemon moves as serialized data. Pokemon fields, moves. Load that JSON in there. Notice we did this on 2 lines here. This is the same thing. Can we agree on that? Did I lose anybody there? How is this the same as this, Joe?
Sorry, I'm absolutely focusing on something else right now. I apologize. Say it one more time with the question.
These 2 lines here, how are those lines? How is this the same thing as those lines? That's a weird question. But I did this same thing. I took serialized Pokemon, I serialized it, and then I had to load it into JSON. Now I'm doing it all on 1 line. How am I doing it on 1 line instead of 2 lines? I know it's a weird question, but
I think I understand what you're asking. I just don't understand. I don't understand how you're doing or why this is happening.
someone else picking up what I'm putting down?
I can help them out. You're just combining them together. You're combining the serialized portion of it into loads, the JSON.loads function.
Yeah, let's check this out. Serialized Pokemon is a variable. That variable is equal to serialized JSON Pokemon. Well, down here, I'm just loading that. So why don't I get rid of this unnecessary variable? You just cram this junk in there, right? That's all I'm doing. Does that look the same? It sure do. You can do both. JavaScript ends up, well, this isn't really JavaScript, but it's getting to be a JavaScripty thing. Yeah, all that's saying is, look, you can set 2 variables like this if you really want to, but you don't have to. If all a variable is going to do is like basically convert some data. We can probably just perform that within these parentheses. That's all. Don't want to lose anybody about that. Then we're going to return this JSON Pokemon. So iterate through the database. Get all them Pokemons. For each Pokemon you find, go get all the moves using that Pokemon. And then build a JSON object out of it. Plug it in there. And then return the response. Now, we're going to come back and play with this a little bit, make it a little bit more straightforward. But what I want to talk about is routing. In Django, we've got URLs. You've got your main URLs in the main project, Pokédex project, URLs. This is our main set. Basically, every other bit of URL we tag on is going to happen after whatever is decided here. This is the top level of URLs. So what we want to do is make sure we include Pokemon app URLs here. Let me just take all that, blast all that. We need the path. We've got that built in. We need the include for sure. Include allows us to pull apps from different, or sorry, to pull URLs from different apps. Didn't change this, this is the same. Now we can interact with Pokemon app URLs. So path, if you were to go to API/v1/Pokemon, it knows what to do. It says, oh, if somebody goes there, what they're really wanting is them Pokemon app URLs. We ain't got no Pokemon app URLs. Let's build them. Well, then Pokemon app URLs.py. Blam! Cool beans. We need that path. From .views, import all Pokemon. This view we just built right here, it needs that. It is the URL. When you hit this URL, all Pokemon, yeah, you're going to get whatever view we built here. All Pokemon as a view. We're going to call it the all Pokemon view. The path is the important part. What does this path mean? Nicole.
Isn't that the URL that you have to type in to get to it?
Yeah, well, it's just an empty quote. Is it just an empty string? What the hell does that mean?
It's gonna pull it from where you put the other thing.
That makes no sense. What are you talking about?
Just URLs Pokédex. Okay, so it's so it's pulling it from the main project.
Yeah. Well, no.
No? Okay.
I don't know if I agree with that terminology. Let's walk through it. This is your main top level URLs, right? This establishes everything that comes down the road. If your main project receives this URL, API v1 Pokemon, where's it going to send you? Where's it? Well, send you is not the right word. Where is it going to get its URL from? Where does it need? What it needs next?
Oh, it's gonna go to the Pokemon app URLs and pull it from there.
Okay, so it's saying, hey, give me all this. Whatever comes after that, you're going to have to go to Pokemon app URLs to figure that out. So this is our URL we're going to go to. And then what else are we going to add on to it?
All Pokemon?
No.
Oh.
Nothing. Right. It's saying API v1 Pokemon, you care about the Pokemon URLs. What is our first path? Nothing. So just going here is nothing. We could, if we wanted to, do that and then do this if we wanted, but we're saying, hey, that's not restful. You go to all Pokemon, you're gonna get this name the all Pokemon URL. This is for use in other things. This is a helpful naming convention, but you can kind of ignore it. We don't super need that. Yes, art.
Is this initial path, is that considered, or is that equivalent to like an index page?
Yes, I would call it index. Yeah. List page is a good word. List view. Detail view is usually what you call it once you start looking at specific iterations. Index, list, those both are terms for the main, the main top level page. All right, we built it. Let's see if it works. Let's see if Jordan set it up right. Python, manage.py, shell. We're in. Uh-oh. Error loading scikit-G2 module. What did I do? What did I do? No module. Scikit-G2. Pause the video. Got something different happening. Resumed recording. What I did, which was naughty, is I removed the version requirement on scikit-G binary and I left this one. Then I pip installed this and they were mismatched. I set them both 3.29 because we know that's a working version. Didn't necessarily have to do that. But now we're good. If you are going to jack with your requirements.txt file, make sure you know how to get back. Or try to make sure you know what happened to it. All righty. Let's do this. So we've entered the shell. We're going to go ahead and import these models in so that we're able to make these changes. Really wish these were just built into the shell and everything available was there, but maybe I'll write a library to do that. I create a new move called Psychic. We're just kind of copy pasting. Y'all have done this before. You've gotten this far. You've created moves. Oh, goodness gracious. That move does not exist. Did I not migrate my changes? Oh, no. I think I didn't. That's probably something going on. This is a new database. Python, manage.py, make migrations. Uh-oh. Sure didn't. Now let's try it. Looks good. Something I'm going to say. I like running into some errors when I'm doing this. I know it can be a little annoying for things to not work right out of the box, but believe it or not, by design, I try to leave a few of these in here. This one was an accident, but I don't want you all to freak out when you see this. Look at this big Django output. Did anyone else get stressed out when they saw this? What is it? Line insert one into move app name. What the above exception was direct cause of bunch of crap. Insert can't do that. No, move app. This is really the piece that's important. Move app move does not exist. What does that mean? That means over here, move app model move does not exist. It sure does. It's right there. It doesn't exist in the database. Easy answer. Jordan forgot to migrate because I just built this up. I just stood this up for the first time, on my machine. As far as it knows, it's been on here hundreds of times before, but I deleted all that. I needed to migrate, just like you do with any Django project from anyone. You're sharing each other's work. You need to migrate those changes. So that's how I knew what to do. Move app move does not exist. I could have hopped into the database and looked, but it's a pretty good bet. So I ran Python maze.py make migrations. Look at that, migrations were made. And then I migrated. And then it added all these bits in here. Look, move app, Pokemon app, great. Then it worked. It's not magic. It just worked. Because I know it was broken. I want to encourage y'all when you run into issues to not just start over and try again and blow things away, because we don't learn that way. If you run into an issue, you may not always be able to explain how you got there, but how we get out is important. A big part of getting more senior and getting better at this stuff is building up confidence that you can find sanity if you're jacking around with stuff. You know how to get back. And I would highly encourage y'all to break your stuff. We're in an age where we go to ChatGPT first, and that's fine in a lot of cases. But I want y'all to break things on purpose. I see a lot of hesitation to break things. This is the safest place you can break things. Do it when you've got an instructor here who can explain to you how it broke and how you can get back. Maybe it's just the way I learn. Sometimes knowing where the boundaries are is important for understanding the content, if that makes sense. I created a move called Psychic. I created a Pokemon called Charizard. And then I created this Pokemon 1, which was Pokemon Objects 1. Why did I do the move before I did the Pokemon, Adam? Would this have worked if I had done them out of order?
What are you referencing? I think I'm a little lost.
Why did I create the move before I created the Pokemon?
Oh, does it matter? I don't think it would have affected it, did it?
To this point, it wouldn't. You're absolutely right. What about this line? You're right. It wouldn't have mattered. Not till I do this. Pokemon 1, I add the moves to it. I need to make sure that move is added, right? Sometimes we're going to get into nesting. This, I've jumped the gun. You're right. I was trying to catch you in something we haven't had to deal with yet. We start doing nested models. We're not going to be able to create Pokemon in the future without moves attached. They're going to need moves. So you're going to have to create the moves first before you can create the Pokemon. Because when you go to create the Pokemon, it's going to say, where are my moves at? And it's going to need those things. When we get into nesting these models, if they are dependent on things, just like we did in SQL, right? If you need to create something that is a foreign key to something else, that something else needs to exist before you're able to create that model, right? You can't say like, yeah, this is a car and foreign key, it's, make to my make table. If there's no makes made yet, you won't be able to do that. And if it's a required key, you'll definitely need to do that. So I took that Psychic move and I made it. I took this Charizard and I made it. Now, just for the sake of keeping them, these are put in the database. I don't want to, at this level, say, oh yeah, the move object is this, because that's not an object in the database yet. This is just a line of Python. Once I hit save, it now is a model, it's now an instance in the database. So I create the move, put it in the database. Create the Charizard, put it in the database. Go to the database, pull it out, and then create a new thing well, rather add to that other thing, this move. I have to get it out of the database first, or else it's not a Pokemon object. It's just a class getting ready to be created. We create a class, we save it as a model in the database. Get that model, that object out of the database, get that out of the database, add one to the other, leave. That's the little thing we do here. This is what we're going to do later when we add moves, when we build out our project a little bit more. We'll be able to do that via the API. We're not going to ever hop into here and do this kind of stuff on game day. Let's run our server. Get out of there. Server's up. Go there. Oh no, an error. Is this a real error? Is this a problem? What's this saying to me? Is this bad? Did we expect this? What is all this crap?
Yeah. So it's basically saying that your paths didn't match any of the ones that you currently have defined.
Oh, well, which ones can I go to?
You can try admin backslash forward slash, I'm sorry.
Hey, that worked. What else can I do?
You can do the API one, second one as well. There you go.
Look at that. Lovely. All right. We're going to just kind of redo this. We're going to build out the same thing for the moves. We've got a get for all our Pokemon. Let's grab all the moves. In the move app, views.py, we're going to paste this over here. Really might have been easier on y'all to do this one first because this one's less complicated. So within move app, views, looks empty. Paste all that in there. What is all that? Import REST framework, we need it. Move app.models, we need the models. Serializer, JSON, need all that junk. I explained this once. Without all this, who wants to take a stab at what these 4, let's call it 5 lines of Python are doing?
It's basically getting all the moves that's currently available in the database, and it's ordering them by name, and then it's just loading it and returning the response.
You're absolutely right. Can I make this any shorter? Can I do this with less lines?
Yes, you can. You can put the you can take the serialized out at the top and cut that out and replace it with moves there. And well, you can also just return
You're absolutely right.
that whole
You're
thing.
absolutely right. Hard to read. It's okay to break it up, multiple lines. But Jordan will think you're cool if you do all this. Self, this is function with the class self request. We need the request, but we're not really doing anything with the request. Later on, when we go to do adds and deletes and stuff like that, we'll look at the type of request. Right now, all of our calls are going here. We don't need to specify, rather, we're not doing anything with the actual request because the request, we'll get into that later. But it's basically what we've been given, and all we've been given is a get. So let's hope that doesn't break it. Sometimes stuff gets a little squirrely with conversions to JSON. So maybe we got to go back and fix that. But theoretically, that should work. Add move app URLs to a project URLs. Well, that's not really what we're doing here. within move app. I need URLs.py. Paste that in there. Looks pretty familiar, I would expect, to where's some of this? Pokemon app. Should be same amount of lines, truly. Yeah, looks exactly the same. Jordan, why are we doing things twice? I've already seen this. Is that you learn Django? You keep doing it the exact same way every time. That's the lovely beauty of Django. You create a new model, you create views for it, you create a URL for it, we return it. We do this way every time. We don't put URLs in some other file. We don't mix our URLs up in different places. I don't import moves from the Move app into my Pokemon app and then present it here. No. Move URLs stay in the Move app. Pokemon URLs stay in the URL or the Pokemon app. What else do I have to do to make our moves viewable from our project when I start at the server? Nicole.
Do you have to add the URL to the project?
Sure do.
Under-
I'm not even going to look at the, oh shoot, how did I do that? I'm not even going to look at the instructions. I bet you it's that. Oh, no. No, module name moves app. You still happy? Module name moves app. Oh, what's going on? Maybe I should have looked. What's going on here? What did I do?
Did you add it to the admin page, .py in the Move app?
I think I have to.
Oh, just for the API?
Access. Move app. Oops, move app. Oh, goodness gracious, Jordan. It's called Move app, not Moves app. That is not a design decision I would agree with. Everyone see what I just had to fix and why I had to fix that?
Mm-hmm.
Art, you're shaking your head no. Why didn't this work?
Well, I mean, just that, just making it plural doesn't match up to the existing URL. But what I didn't follow is where where it actually is listed as move_app.
Right here.
Oh, the project itself.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That should be it. Let's boot it up. Let's see. Is there an issue? No? Insertion error. Oh, what happened? I also didn't expect this. I bet you this is an error we caused. Let's do it the boring way. Flew too close to the sun, I think, Cisco. Yeah, as I said, sometimes you don't like chaining too many dadgum things together. Probably with the return, I'm willing to bet we probably could have got away with only this here we really wanted, but doing too much stuff in the return gets a little janky. Yeah, that was it. Should work that way, but it don't. Just because I'm that kind of guy. I love testing live code in front of
There
my
you go.
students.
You got it, Jordan.
That work.
Yep.
Fixed it. Look at that. It's beautiful. Look at all these parentheses. All righty. So, as I add more Pokemon, they should be adding up here. This is going to get more complex. We don't have to do this, but I think it's cool to just real quick display what this stuff should or should not be doing. I just want you all to see this grow as we kind of fill out this information. Let's add a new move. Oh crap, that's not that. Let's call this one I don't tackle. That's a fun one. Does it matter if I set the variable as psychic? That's fine. Create a new Pokemon's not named Charizard. We'll pick my favorite Pokemon. Oh god. Metal Greymon. Now we should be able to grab ID2. I could look up Pokemon get all. I'm pretty sure the second Pokemon create is going to be ID2. Then we're going to grab move 2. We'll slap it in here. Exit. Run. Look at that. A new move right there. Tackle. I bet you we're going to get a new Pokemon named Metal Greymon with tackle. If I wanted to, add moves to that Pokemon's, Pokemon 1. Yeah, let's add, so I'm grabbing Pokemon 2, which is Metal Greymon. I'm going to grab move 1, which should be Psychic. Tack it on there. Run that server. Look at that. Just got a new move. Tackle and Psychic. We're just building out these models. They're lining up nice. They're all sitting here. This is all the Pokemon that exist. All 2 of them I've created. This one's got 1 move. This one's got 2 moves. We want to see just the moves we've got. They're all right here. It's shaping up to be a nice, helpful little Pokédex, right? Any questions about this lecture or any of this? URLs, how they get made, how the views get made, what the views are doing.